Hey, hi, welcome to Kaapi and Conversation. Your host, Meera, and I'm Pranor over here, the founder of Maya Katha Storytelling and Let's Make Stories Stand Obels. I am a culmination of stories that you have created for me. Well, are you asking me, Meera, what is this title that you're going to be talking about today? It looks different. Well, it looks different, but it is something we all experience. Come join me as we grab a cup of coffee as well as chai with you. Copy and conversation, yes, it's a space for me where stories brew slowly, just like our favorite cup of coffee. Today's conversation, yes, it looks different, yet deeply familiar. How? Let me tell you. Have you ever come across something that started as just music, but slowly became a feeling, a companion, a voice you didn't know you needed? Today, we are talking about exactly that. We are talking about BTS. When we hear BTS, many of us think K-pop, global fame, millions of fans, those boys wearing lipstick, nail paint, oh well, keep that aside. But but what if I told you this isn't just a story about music? This is a story about dreams, discipline, identity, and belonging. Seven individuals who didn't just build a band, they built a narrative. Every powerful story begins quietly. Before the global stages, before the sold out arenas, there were struggles, there were rejections, there were moments of doubt. BTS didn't come from the biggest agency. Yes, we all know that, or many of us know that. They weren't the obvious choice either, but they had something powerful, a story that they believed in. And isn't that something we all relate to? In our career, in our business, our personal journeys, we often wait for the perfect moment to begin. But maybe the magic lies in just starting anyway. What makes BTS different? It's just not their music alone, is what I feel. It's what their music says. Their songs speak about like an echo in the forest, smooth like butter. Of course, hey, does my voice sound good? Okay, let me know. I would love to hear that. Yes, their songs speak about self doubt, mental health, identity, pressure, and of course, self love. And suddenly, listeners don't just hear the music, they feel seen, they feel heard, they just feel part of it. They feel it is just my story that I see in front of me. These seven boys are singing, these seven boys dancing, or these seven boys putting the entire story in the form of a movie in front of my eyes. Let's take a moment to look at a few voices within the group. RM, yes, the leader, often reflecting on identity and purpose. Sugar, raw, honest, unafraid to talk about pain and mental health. J Hope, yes, many of them call him as a sunshine, a reminder that hope is not loud, it's consistent. Jin, oh, many would have commented about him. What is this guy doing over here who doesn't even know to dance? Well, he heard them, he's seen that. But quietly, he's teaching us that self worth isn't about perfection, it's about acceptance. Jimin, a reflection of sensitivity and strength, showing that vulnerability can be powerful. Yes, an artist totally at heart, more of a drama, of course. He's reminding us to embrace our uniqueness even when it feels different. Yes, Jungkook, a symbol of growth, evolving, learning, and becoming. Yes, becoming with every step. To me, all these seven boys have taught me that what you are, you are. What you want to do, it's just about taking that step to do that. But it all starts not with the perfection, but just taking that step. Each one a different story, and together, a collective voice. Yes, let me repeat that. Each one a different story, and together, a collective voice. Now, let's talk about something even more powerful. Not fans, but a community. That's what they call it as a community. And the BTS fandom is, they call it as army. Absolutely, many of us know that we are an army to them. But here's the difference, this isn't just admiration, this is a connection. People across the world, different cultures, languages, lives. It is just not about the Asian country. I'm talking about across the globe, the West, the East, the North, the South, what do you call it as? United by a feeling, a sense of I belong here. And that's what storytelling does. It's all about sense of belonging. It's an experience that brings in front of your eyes to make you feel, to make you see what you're seeing. Ha. Isn't that? That's what storytelling does, right? It doesn't just inform, it connects again. It doesn't just speak, it listens. So, what can we take from this story? Whether you're a professional, a creator, an entrepreneur, or why do we forget, or a person working in the corporate, or someone simply figuring life out. Here are a few things I feel. It's to me, I would call it as a reflection. Consistency matters more than the perfection. Authenticity builds trust. Vulnerability creates connection. Your story is your strongest voice. Let me repeat those four titles that I feel it's a reflection. Consistency matters more than the perfection. Authenticity builds trust. Vulnerability creates connection. Yes, vulnerability within the boundary line. Your story is your strongest voice because at the end of the day, people may forget what you said, but they will never forget how your story made them feel. Do you want me to share that again? It's more about reflecting. Absolutely. I have experienced this also. People may forget, people will definitely forget what you said, but they will never forget how your story made them feel. Maybe BTS didn't just create music alone. Maybe they created mirrors. Yes, they created the mirrors. Mirrors where people could finally see themselves, their struggles, their dreams, their worth. And maybe, why maybe? And that's what storytelling is truly about. Ha, I want to share more. Ask me the question like, why am I talking about BTS? For someone who grew up listening to Westlife, Backstreet Boys, blues, and of course, a lot of these are beautiful Indian songs. BTS just happened by an accident, which was pretty late for me to know about these boys. It was in 2020 during the pandemic, thanks to my daughter who introduced me to Na 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 Dynamite. Of course, that's the first song I saw. And I just saw that song 3 to 4 more times again. There's something about them is what I felt. I didn't listen to any other songs by BTS up and later. Only this song I always used to play it, listen, watch in a loop mode. But later on when I started reading about them, oh, I'm pretty late to know about them. That's what I felt. But I still call them as boys for a 40 plus woman who I am here. I feel these are little boys who would have held my little finger while crossing the road. These are those little boys who would have told, can you check the artwork that I have done? Can you see this? Absolutely, that's how I felt because in school I still remember there was tiny little boys, all tiny little girls coming to me, Meera Didi, can you see? I have drawn this. Meera Didi, can you listen to what I did? That's a connection I share with them. I mean, I don't know what these guys are going to do later. But one thing that I'm sure of is they will continue being the way they are. Somewhere along the way. I mean, I feel BTS stopped just being artists from South Korea alone. They became a global voice. From stadiums in cities they had never seen. I mean, like, what do I say? To hearts that they have never met. The Purple Heart, the Tiny Heart, Sarange, what do you call it as? Their message traveled across languages. It isn't that the beauty of storytelling? You don't always need the same words to feel the same emotion. They even stood at the global stage of the United Nations. Ah, I remember listening to that by Aram. Powerful conversation, powerful words. Not as performers, but as voices of generation. Talking about self love, talking about acceptance, talking about being seen. And in that moment, music met the meaning. Ha! Thank you for being here with me on Kaapi and Conversation. Go, listen, maybe after this conversation, at least one song from BTS. And you can leave a comment, you can write to me and let me know. Ah, Meera, did I miss listening to these guys? But I'm happy that you talked about them today. Or you would say, hey Meera, so nice. I never knew even you loved listening to BTS. Of course. Like an echo in the forest, la 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 la, na 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 na. Ah, that's BTS. Until next time, keep listening, keep feeling, brew that coffee or a chai. I'll be back with yet another episode. Namaste, thank you. This is Meera from Kaapi and Conversation. See ya. Ta-da. Bye-bye.